Hi guys, so this is the easiest way to learn your scales. Now I'm speaking from experience here both as a student and a teacher. I find that this way of thinking about scales is by far and away the clearest and gives you the least number of things to think about, therefore making those scales easier to remember. Everything I'm talking about in this video you can find in the description link below. I've written up a really nice clear worksheet. Go and download that. This video is just really to fill in any gaps that aren't on that sheet. The number one issue that I see in my students is trying to memorise the thing. So whether that's trying to memorise the notes of the scale or whether it's trying to memorise the buttons on the piano, the shape it makes. This is a bit of a fool's errand. If you think of each scale having 7 numbers or 7 notes or 7 whatever it is that you're trying to memorise, that's not dissimilar to a UK phone number without the area code at the front. Most of us presumably only have a couple of phone numbers memorised, which suggests that it's not quite as easy as we might be assuming. Let's move on to the sheet. Step 1. You need to know your major scale, and this is crucially important. This is the structure upon which all the other scales will be based. You can think of this in shapes if that works best for you, if you're a guitarist, or you can think of it as root, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. However you want to go about doing it, you must know your major scale. It will make learning all the other scales so much easier. Step 2. You should be starting to get more confident with your major scales by now, and as you're playing through them, I want you to simply number the notes. Easiest if you do this out loud. It's clearest to you, and it makes most sense to verbalise these. As you are playing your starting note, you say 1. The second note, you say 2. Third note, you say 3, so on and so forth. You should be very, very quick at locating the 4th note in a major scale. The 5th note in a major scale. You should be able to instantly tell someone what that is rather than having to work your way through the scale. That's a good indicator when you can start to do that you're starting to get the major scale internalised. Step 3. This is the exciting part. You've put the hard work into learning your major scale. We can now use that framework to learn any scale that we like. Now I'd really recommend that you start with the 3 scales that I've put on the worksheet here, which are the melodic minor, the harmonic minor. The 3rd scale's got lots of different names, sometimes called the Aeolian mode, the pure minor, the natural minor, or the melodic minor descending. However you choose to name the scale isn't important. Whether you can play it is the important thing. The first scale here, the melodic minor scale ascending, or the jazz melodic minor, whatever you want to call it. We can simply describe this as the major scale with a flattened 3rd. So much clearer than trying to remember all the other notes of it. You find whatever the 3rd note of your major scale is and you reduce it by a semitone or by a fret or by a key, whatever way you want to think about that. All the other notes remain the same and you are now playing the melodic minor scale. The 2nd scale, the next step, we've just flattened the 3rd for the melodic minor scale. We're going to additionally flatten the 6th note, and that's going to create the harmonic minor scale. The remaining notes stay true to the major scale. Final scale here, the one with lots of names, let's call this the natural minor. We've flattened the 3rd, which gave us the melodic minor sound. We've flattened the 6th, which gave us the harmonic minor sound. And we're now additionally going to flatten the 7th, which is going to give us the natural minor sound with the flat 3, the flat 6, and the flat 7. Step 4, I'm going to give you a couple of ways that you can practice these. What we're trying to do here is really strengthen the association between these new scales and the major scale. The 2 best ways I've found to practice this. Firstly, you play the major scale, then you flatten the 3rd of the major scale and play that. If that goes to plan, brilliant, you play the major scale one more time. You then go to the melodic minor, flatten the third. If it goes well, you move on and you then flatten the sixth as well. If that goes well, you play the major scale again. You then go through flattening the third. If that goes well, you carry on, you flatten the sixth and the third for the harmonic minor, and if that goes well, you get all the way to the end of the challenge and you flatten the seventh as well. Once you've done that, you go back to playing the major scale. So we're constantly alternating between the different types of scale built on the same root, so we can really see how similar they all are to each other, which is really the key to learning these. Another way you can practice these is simply alternating through them from major scale, melodic minor, major scale, harmonic minor, major scale, natural minor. And the final sequence would be just running through them in order. So major scale, melodic minor, harmonic minor, natural minor. Maybe work your way backwards. You want to then do this all around the neck, all around the guitar, all around the piano, on the saxophone, whatever instrument you're using, in all 12 keys. Step 5, any new scale you learn, you need to think how that scale is similar to the major scale and how it's different. You condense those notes into just a couple of things that you need to remember: flatten third, flatten sixth, whatever it is. That's a far shorter list of things to memorise than every single note within that scale all the way up the instrument. And your step 6 is to please like this video, share this video with anyone who you think would find it useful, and please do click the subscribe button coming up in the end screen now. Cheers.